Hey, boys and girls. So I wanted to show you on page 29 and 30 of your packet, I wrote out some different strategies that you can use to subtract two-digit numbers. And I tried to write little notes and things like that to show what I was thinking. But if you're like Mr. Andrews, then you would probably like it if I worked out some of these problems on this part of your fact sheet. So that way you can kind of see what I'm doing and think about it with me as I'm working through it. So I like doing that, or I like it when someone does that for me. So I'm going to do that for you because I'm sure some of you would like that also. So here is 53 minus 27. That's on page 32. So I'm going to solve this in two different ways. I'm going to use a number line to subtract to find that difference, and I'm going to use it to add. So if I'm going to use a number line to subtract, remember, when I'm subtracting, I have a whole and I'm taking a part out of that whole, which means whatever I have left should be smaller than what I started with. If I have a whole pie of 53 and I eat 27 of that pie, I'm not going to have 53 pie left. It's going to be a smaller number. So we want to start on the right side with our whole 53. The reason why is because when I subtract, my number is getting smaller, which means I'm going to be going to the left on the number line because when I go left, my numbers get smaller. So we can't stop until we take away 27. Now, it would not be very efficient and it would be very easy to make a mistake if I just counted by ones 27 times, like did 52, 51, 50. 27 times. That would take forever, but it would also make it a pretty high chance of getting the answer wrong. So let's do what I taught you guys earlier this year, and that's to make jumps of 10, and then you can take away your ones. So how many 10s do I have to take away? Two, because I got to take away 27. So some of you could just go ahead and take away 20 all at once, and that's perfect. That's fantastic. But if not, you can just take away two 10s. So let's do 53 minus 10. Will my ones place change if I take 10 away? Nope. So I know that my answer is going to have a 3 in the ones place, but instead of having 5 10s, if I take one away, I'm going to have 4 10s for 43. Okay. Have I taken away 27 yet? Nope. So you got to take away another 10 to take away those two 10s, to take away the 20 part. All right. Again, if I have 4 10s and I take a 10 away, I'm going to have 3 10s. Does the ones place change? Nope. So 33 is what I'll have. Now, you can take away the 7 that's left in 27 in different ways. I wouldn't count back by 7 because that's a larger number than 1 or 2, and you could make a careless error and make a mistake. Instead, let's use those strategies that I've taught you earlier in the year, like making a 10. I know that if I can get rid of this 3 in the ones place, I can make this a friendly 10 number of 30. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take away 3 to get to 30. Now I have to take away another 4 because 10, 20, 23, I have to take away 4 more to make sure I take away 27 because 3 and 4 make 7 and 20 and 7 make 10. So now I'm going to hop another 4. See how I tried to make that 4 jump a little bit bigger than the 3? And how these 10 jumps are bigger than the 3 and the 4 jump? So 30 minus 4 would be like 10 minus 4, which is 6. But since I had 3 10s and I was taking away 4 1s, I could regroup one of my 10s into ones, and then I'd have 2 10s left, which is 26. Okay. Now, this is how I like to use a number line. I like to add. When Mr. Andrews can add, I like to add. So to do this, I'm going to start with my whole. Sorry, no. Correction. When you're using the number line to add, to help you subtract, you want to start off with the part that you already know, which is 27. And you want to keep jumping until you get to 53. Once you get to 53, add up how many jumps you made, and then you'll know what the other part is. To me, adding is so much easier than subtracting. So if I can use addition to help me subtract, I'm going to do it. So here is the part I know, 27. I'm going to keep jumping to the right because my number is going to get larger because I'm adding until I get to 53. Once I get to 53, I'm going to stop because remember, that's my hole. I can't go past my hole. I can't end with an answer larger than my hole. So I like 10 numbers. So I'm going to add 3 to 27 to get to 30. Now, some of you may think, well, Mr. Andrews, I'm just going to go ahead and jump 20 to get to 50 and then 3 more to get to 53. And if you can do that, fantastic. If you just want to jump your tens, that's fine too. So I remember I'm trying to get to 53. So let's add a 10. 30 plus 10 is 40. Okay. Am I at 53 yet? Nope. I've only added 10. 10 plus 3 is 13. All right. So let's try adding another 10. That gets me to 50. Ooh, that's close to 53. But am I there yet? No. I've only added 23 so far. So to get from 50 to 53, I just have to add 3 more. Now that I have gotten back to my hole, 53, I just have to add up how many jumps I made, or add up all my jumps, and then I'll know the other part. 10 plus 10 is 20. 3 plus 3 is 6. So 20 plus 6 would be 26. Just like I got up here when I use it to subtract. So the missing part would have to be 26. Okay? So that's how you use the number line to subtract. You can use subtraction or you can use addition. I like addition. That's my favorite. Okay? So let's pick out another one of these and use a different strategy. Let's do 85 minus 27. That's on page 33. So let's do 85. Whoa. 85 minus 27. So another one of the strategies that I showed on that little sheet was the break apart method. Now, I'm going to make a new problem right here just to kind of show how you have to be careful if you use this strategy. A lot of you like to use the break apart method to add. You just have to be very careful when you're using it to subtract. So let me make a new problem over here. So these are two different problems. I'm just showing you how you have to be careful when you're using the break apart method or place value method. So let's pretend that you had 87 minus 25. You have 87, that's your whole, and you're taking away part of it, 25, and you want to know what the other part is. So to use the break apart method, kind of like how last week when you added, let's get a darker color. You want to bring down your ones. So there's 7 ones in 87. Really, there's 87 ones, but there's 7 in the ones place, 5 in the ones place, and 25. So here you have 7 minus 5. You can do this because if you have 7, you can lose 5 and still have some left over. 5 is a smaller number, so you can do this. This is okay. 7 minus 5 is 2. Then you can subtract the value of your tens digits. 8 tens is 80. Taking away 2 tens or 20 out of that would leave you with 60. And you add your ones value and your tens value together for 62. So 87 minus 25 would be 62. Now, that was pretty easy. The reason why is because we didn't have to regroup. Now, let me show you how to use this on this problem over here. This one's actually on your packet. Let me show you why you have to be careful. So let's just do the same thing and see what happens. Let's take away, let's bring our 5 down, our 5 ones, and our 7 ones down. Now, in class, some of you wrote a problem like this and would write 2 as your answer. So let me explain why that does not make sense. 5 minus 7 is not going to be 2 because if you have 5 cookies, can you take 7 away from that? Let's try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still have to take 2 more away, but there's no more left to take. So this number sentence is not true. 5 minus 7 is not 2. You cannot take 7 away when you only have 5. So be very careful about that. So what are we supposed to do? You have to regroup. So this is how it would look. You have to come over here and you have to regroup one of your 10s, turn it into 10 ones, and give it to the 5 to make 15 ones. Now you don't have 8 10s anymore. Now you have 7 10s, which is 70. Now you can take away 7 from 15, no problem. 15 minus 7 would be 8. Add 3 to that 7 to make 10. 10 plus 5 is 15, so 3 and 5 would be 8. Now you can take away your 20 from the 70 you have that's left. Remember, you don't have 80 anymore because you had to take one of those 10s and regroup it into ones. So can you take 20 away from 70? If you have 70, can you take 20 away? Yes, because 70 is much larger than 20. So you can definitely take 20 away from 70, which would be 50. And so your answer, 50 plus 8, would have to be 58. So you just have, if you want to use this strategy to subtract the break apart method, you can. You just have to really pay attention to, does my number sentence make sense? Is it true? So you just have to be very careful about that. All right, let's take a look at another one. Let's look at la, la, la. 34 minus 15. Let's take a look at that. And let's look at the add to subtract method. This is my favorite. 34 minus 15. This is my favorite one to use. When I go to the grocery store and do my shopping, this is the strategy that I use in my head all the time. So 34 is my whole. I want to take part of it out, 15, and I want to figure out what part is going to be left. Remember, just like with a number line, I can use addition to help me subtract. I can do 4 minus 2 because I know that 2 plus 2 is 4. So 4 minus 2 would have to be 2. I can do the same thing with larger numbers. So let's start with a part that we already know, 15. And we're just going to add to it until we get back to the whole of 34. Remember, Mr. Andrews loves making tens. I love 10 numbers because they're so easy to add with and so easy to subtract with. So what can I add to 15 to get to a friendly 10 number? 5, because 5 plus 5 is 10, and that 10 we already have in 15 would make 20. Am I at a whole of 34 yet? Nope. But adding to 20 should be pretty easy now. I know that 20 plus 10 will give me to 30, which is close to 34. And then if I'm at 30, I just need 4 more to get to 34. And so now I just have to add up what I added. I know that 5 plus 4 is 9, and 10 plus 9 is 19. So 19 would be my answer. 34 minus 15 is 19 because 19 plus 15 is 34. So there's many different ways that you can use this strategy. You could have done 15 plus 10. You could have done 15 plus 20 and then taken one away. Like there's so many different ways to solve with this, with adding to subtract. So many different ways. All right. And so last but not least is the easiest strategy to use. This is the one that we kind of want to start moving away from, is using base 10 blocks. So let's do 100 minus 25. So if I want to draw base 10 blocks to subtract, I only want to draw my whole, 100 in this problem, because if I draw my whole and the part and I take that part away, I'm just going to be left with 100. So I really didn't do anything and my answer wouldn't make sense. So let's do 100 minus 25. So let's take a look at the ones place. So 0 minus 5. Can I take 5 ones away from 0 ones? No. So to get more ones, to make it to where I can subtract, I'm going to regroup, which means, sorry, I should have drawn an R there. I'm going to regroup. I'm not subtracting yet. I'm just changing how this 100 looks. I'm going to regroup my 100 into 10 tens, which is still 100. I still don't have any ones though. So I'm going to regroup one of those tens into 10 ones. Now I can take 5 ones away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so my answer, my difference, will have a 5 in the ones place for my answer. Now, I don't have 10 tens anymore. I have 9 tens because I had to break one of them into 10 ones. So let's take a look at what we have to subtract now. It wants me to take 2 tens away. I have 9 tens right now. So can I take 2 tens away from 9 tens? Absolutely. 1, 2. That means I have 7 tens left. And it's not asking me to take away any hundreds. I've regrouped my 100 into 10 tens anyway, so I'm finished. So 100 minus 25 is 75. Now, this is one of those tougher problems to use base 10 blocks with. And the reason why I wanted to show this strategy with this is because this is not a very efficient strategy. You boys and girls, you can't, when you're 30 something years old shopping groceries, you can't draw your base 10 blocks for your milk, for your eggs, for your cheese, for your Oreos, for your Sprite, your Mountain Dew. You can't draw all those different base 10 blocks for all those different numbers and then add it all together to see how much you've spent. You're going to have to use more efficient strategies. And the ones that I showed you before are more efficient, especially this one right here. This is why it's my favorite, because I can use it in my head. I don't have to have paper. So hopefully that made sense. If you have any questions about anything at all, please let me know and I'll try to help as soon as I can.